We are now going to consider which industry you should choose for your business. I strongly recommend that you start your agency as a specialist recruiter, targeting clients in a market that you have a level of knowledge and understanding in. This enables you to build your business in a niche sector so that you can operate as a specialist in your chosen field, which in turn allows you to command higher fees for your service. When a client is talking to you, they want to know that you have a level of understanding of their industry, which will enable you to provide the candidate with the right skills for their business. Promoting the fact that you are a specialist recruiter shows your clients that you are well connected in their field and not only have an enviable database of skilled candidates, but more importantly, know exactly where and how to source suitable candidates for their business. If you have experience as a mechanical engineer, it does not make sense to start recruiting healthcare workers. This reminds me of the old joke about the mechanic and the surgeon. A mechanic was removing the cylinder heads from the motor of a car when he spotted the famous surgeon in his garage that was standing off to one side waiting for the service manager to come and take a look at his car. The mechanic shouted across the garage, "Hello, doctor, please come over here for a minute." The famous surgeon, a bit surprised, walked over to the mechanic. The mechanic straightened up, wiped his hands on a rag and asked argumentatively, "So doctor, look at this. I also open hearts, take valves out, grind them, put in new parts, and when I finish, this will all work as new. So how come you get the big money when you and me are doing basically the same work?" Doctor leaned over and whispered to the mechanic, "Try doing it when the engine is running." So try to choose an industry or job type in which you have some experience or knowledge. This will allow you to better anticipate your client company's needs and find better candidates. For example, let's say you are working in the care industry. Obviously you know about care work. You know what carers actually do. You know what types of organisation hire carers, and I would bet you know some other carers who are perhaps looking for a new job. So why wouldn't you start there? Don't try and reinvent yourself. If you decide to recruit in an industry you aren't familiar with, you are going to have to learn that industry and recruiting at the same time. That would be difficult. Once you learn how recruiting works, then you can expand into other niche markets. The added benefit is that you'll be trying to fill vacancies for a variety of positions with the same candidates who were not hired for another job role. And on the flip side, you can also send one job opportunity to several candidates to allow you to mix and match, so to speak, within a specific sector of an industry. Of course, there's nothing to stop you from having a core industry sector that is the mainstay of your business and having other markets as a peripheral to the core business. But you could have senior finance positions as the core of your business, however also recruit for bookkeepers, accounts assistants, payroll officers, credit controllers, etc. Again, it is best to stay within an industry and to recruit for a variety of positions within that industry. If you target several completely unconnected markets, you could find that you are spreading yourself too thin. Best to follow one thing to success before moving on to another. Be sure to choose a growth industry, or at least a stable and recession-proof one. Sometimes this can be like a moving target. So the best thing to do is to visit several job boards and see which industry sectors has the most jobs advertised. Outlined here are a number of industries that tend to perform well in good times and bad. Network as much as you can. Look to your network of friends and family and see if they can give you insight into your chosen industry. Use social networking sites such as LinkedIn and Facebook and attend trade shows and seminars to find people in your field for networking. If you haven't chosen a sector to move into, then you'll now have the opportunity to get some ideas to jot down as to potential industries to consider. It is safe to say that all sectors of the UK economy over the last year or so has posted strong rates of growth in business activity and staffing levels, sadly with the exception of the retail sector, which saw its rate of growth slow to an all-time low. However, the sector breaking the most records is the construction industry. Construction often involves short-term projects and tight deadlines. Recruitment agencies are crucial in sourcing contractors in such situations, especially on large-scale projects and at technical or executive level. These employers are choosing to search for potential employees with the help of recruitment agencies who know both the sector intimately as well as the needs of particular roles and positions within that market. Information technology. With sustained year-on-year growth in total vacancies, greater clusters of tech companies emerging in pockets across the UK, and optimism exuding from all corners of the sector, it's fair to say that those in the IT industry are feeling rather bullish about the future. London remains the nation's leading tech cluster, but there are a number of peripheral cities around the world driving their own startup ecosystems, and therefore that mantle may well not be guaranteed here for too much longer. With over 60% of tech companies forecasting growth over the next few years, the optimism in the sector is high, with new investment in infrastructure being made to support greater volume. Care industry. The care industry is also rapidly expanding. This is mainly due to the growth in the number of mature individuals who want to stay in their own homes, but may need help with their daily tasks. This sort of work can prove to be very rewarding, but a good work ethic is essential, as well as a fair degree of patience. A number of local councils, due to budget constraints imposed on them by government cuts, have been closing down care homes, which has put a tremendous strain on the NHS that has been forced to take up the slack. To reduce the burden on the NHS, the government is planning to reverse this trend, which will undoubtedly see an increase in the need for agency workers. Oil and gas energy. Despite constant warnings that we are only 30 years away from running out of oil, demand continues to grow. Add to this boom in other energy areas such as shale gas extraction, and you have a market primed for recruiters. The energy sector needs to recruit 120,000 new employees worldwide over the next decade to avoid a skill shortage, according to PricewaterhouseCoopers research. And companies in the market are pushing hard to attract employees into the interesting and exciting, not to mention well-remunerated industry. Service sector. In addition to this, the service sector, which embraces everything from restaurants and pubs to law firms and estate agents, is also seeing rapid expansion of output, new orders, and of course employment. Some goods and services are a necessity, meaning people will buy them regardless of any changes to their financial circumstances. An obvious example of this is food. People will still buy staple foods such as milk, bread and butter. This means that food manufacturers, supermarkets and convenience stores are also pretty much recession-proof. Other businesses selling non-discretionary goods or services include post offices, healthcare businesses like pharmacies, and home maintenance services such as plumbers and electricians. E-commerce businesses and those ahead of the technology curve are likely to survive any recession. Customers can often find lower online prices than a high street shops, and internet shopping is more convenient. There are a number of growth industries in digital and social media and other high technologies. For example, the telecoms industry, fueled by smartphone sales, are on the increase. That is true to say that no job is totally recession-proof. Finance and accounting jobs come pretty close. To quote Benjamin Franklin, "In this world there is nothing as certain as death and taxes. And therefore, where you have taxes, you have accountants. They're pretty much joined at the hip." During a recession, the right job industry to have your recruitment agency operating in is like a bullet-proof vest worn during a shootout. It won't guarantee you'll survive, but it boosts the chance that you won't be taken out completely. As previously stated, no job is fully guaranteed to be recession-proof. Some finance and accounting positions are less likely to be cut during corporate downsizings. Likewise, some sectors of the overall market thrive during downturns. If you can find one of those safe industries in a growing sector, you have two hedges against the risk of your recruitment agency hitting the buffers. Because every company has some component of fraud, and finding it requires an advanced accounting skills, forensic accountants are constantly in demand. If a company has 30,000 employees, you can bet your bottom dollar that they will have at least one person thinking of a way to take something that's not theirs. Forensic accounting is strong during a good economy, but it gets even more in demand during a weak economy because companies want to prevent fraud by finding it before they lose any money. When you think of companies such as Enron, prior to this debacle, Enron, a Houston-based energy trading company, was, based on revenue, the 7th largest company in the UK. Through some fairly complicated accounting practices that involve the use of shell companies, Enron was able to keep hundreds of millions of dollars worth of debt off its books. Doing so fooled investors and analysts into thinking that this company was more fundamentally stable than it actually was. Additionally, the shell companies run by Enron executives recorded fictitious revenues, essentially recording $1 of revenue multiple times, thus creating the appearance of an incredible earnings figures. Eventually, the complex web of deceit was unravelled by forensic accountants, and the share price fell like a brick from over $90 to less than 70 cents. Hence why forensic accountants' role are nearly always recession-proof. Now that money can never be recouped. It's just lost in the ether of deceit. That is why there will always be a need for forensic accountants and auditors to identify any level of fraud before the damage is done. Just one final piece of advice before we move on to sourcing vacancies. Once you have chosen the industry you want to specialise in, I strongly recommend that you have multiple contacts within any client organisation. Recruiters tend to get comfortable with their go-to person and stop working on relationships with other high-ranking decision makers. What happens if your contact is laid off or leaves the company? Know all the key players within your client company and get to know them professionally. Never become complacent. Steps to be taken at this stage of your recruitment startup program is to 1. Choose an industry to start your recruitment agency. And 2. If your industry is not particularly recession proof, target a second industry as a backup for you to develop at a later stage. We're now going to move into a subject which will form a key pillar to your business, and that is sourcing vacancies. The process of looking for potential clients is referred to as lead generation or prospecting. All agencies go through this process, and there are various materials to help you to do this. It's incredible to think that as much as 85% of vacancies make up the hidden job market. The truth of the matter is it costs time and money to advertise a vacancy, which can be very expensive. And because an employer cannot guarantee that they will fill these positions, many will choose not to do so. So they place their jobs on their website. But unless the company is a household name, more times than not, these vacancies will just stay languishing on a client's website. Now, although these vacancies do not get advertised externally, it is very easy to locate them. So let us go through ways in which you can access jobs that are part of the hidden job market. Outlined here are 5 ways in which this can be done. You can utilize social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn to network your way to finding the contact details of hiring managers in your industry. Then check that person's company website for vacancies. You can target vacancies listed in your local newspapers. It is a good idea to create a scrapbook to add these vacancies to, and for calling the company a week after they have placed the advert to see if the vacancy has been filled. If the vacancy has not been filled, then obviously you can offer your services. It is a good idea to offer the client a discount off your terms of business, perhaps even deduct from your fee the cost of the newspaper advert, as long as it's not too expensive. This way the company doesn't feel that it has been doubled whammied, i.e. paying twice. Type in the names of the top 10 companies in your country's search engine followed by the word jobs, i.e. here in the UK it's Google, so you would type Amazon Jobs UK into the search engine, and there you'll find numerous vacancies for this company. Search the leading job boards. Although the majority have vacancies from recruitment agencies, you will still find a number of direct vacancies from employers. Do you have a family member or a close friend who runs a business? Then ask them if they have any vacancies outstanding that you can help them to fill. And don't just tap into the connections you already have. Figure out who you need to know in your chosen industry to approach, likely the hiring manager, and make that connection, whether by getting them to follow you on Twitter, by retweeting their tweets, or growing your LinkedIn network until they become a third-degree connection. Twitter in particular offers opportunity to connect with professionals who might not otherwise give you the time of day. If you go to the local town hall, library, or contact your local council and make inquiries about new companies relocating to your neck of the woods, if they are relocating from some distance, then a large number of their existing staff won't necessarily be willing to relocate, which will definitely result in vacancies for you to fill. It is best to contact the company before they relocate to your area. Most libraries and council offices have this information on their website, so it's best to make this your first port of call before going along directly to these places. The next plan of action is to try each of the methods covered here to source a list of 25 companies in your chosen industry. If possible, see if you can get the contact's name and telephone number for these positions. Getting the contact details is not mission critical at this stage, as we will be covering this in depth at a later stage of your training program. Our third topic we are going to consider, and that is the use of job boards. There are numerous job boards on the market with an extensive database of millions of candidates offering a CV search facility. Just about every job board offers direct access to literally millions of CVs via their database. Nowadays, people looking for work check the job boards first. You'll find a variety of job board types on the internet. They may be organised around specific occupations, locations, or some companies actually search jobs for you if you have filled out applications for them. Some job boards are devoted to certain types of work. For instance, if you are seeking a career in IT, you can find numerous jobs on these job boards, which allow you to apply for these vacancies or to bid for work in a specialist field. One thing made clear by job board listings on the internet is that they are taking business from other main sources for job searches and classified ads in the newspapers. In larger cities, you may see fewer and fewer classified ads, since it may be more cost effective to list jobs with job boards. Later in the training program, we'll run through a step-by-step guide to using social media sites to drive candidates to your agency free of charge. There are, however, free job boards that will allow you to search CVs to help launch your business on a shoestring budget. Indeed.co.uk provides an open search engine for CVs. You'll have an instant access to millions of qualified candidates through this service. What sets Indeed Resume apart from other job board CV databases is it's an open search engine. No subscription required. Searching for CVs are free and unrestricted and does not require an account. Simply search for candidates by specifying what and where in the search boxes. With no upfront cost or per user license, Indeed is a perfect tool for you to fill the majority of your jobs. And the benefit for recruiters are no subscription necessary, preview CVs without ever leaving the search results page, set up unlimited saved searches, and receive daily emails with new and updated CV matching search criteria. Indeed can automatically email you when there are new and relevant CVs, so that you can stay on top of the best talent while you work your business. Click the Get New Resumes by Email link at the top or bottom of the search results to receive new CVs that match your search. You can create an unlimited number of email alerts for free and of course cancel alerts at any time. To get started, all you need to do is visit www.indeed.co.uk, click on the link to find CVs and type in the keywords of a vacancy you are working on, and you'll be presented with a number of relevant CVs for you to review. To contact a candidate that you have identified as a potential match, all you need to do is to send them a quick email informing them about the vacancy and asking them to contact you for more details. And that's it. In the training program How to Make a Placement in 30 Days or Less, I'll be walking you through step by step the whole process from finding a vacancy to using LinkedIn and other sources to find suitable CVs for your vacancies. Then forwarding these CVs through to clients, moving them through to the interview stage and ultimately into employment, leading you to your first of many placement fees of 15% of the candidate's salary. Our last subject we're going to look at today is CV databases. CV databases are a great way to gain access to millions of candidates from all sectors. It is quick and easy to search the database to find people that match your job roles. You can of course use social media platforms to source candidates, depending on which industry or country you are in, and you can access literally millions of CVs. There are LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, not forgetting search engines such as Google, Bing and Yahoo for candidate leads on the internet. Nowadays, the vast majority of search engines have CV databases of hundreds of thousands of candidates to choose from. And we have a training program specifically designed to show you how to use social media sites to source potential candidates. Facebook. Many people set up their own Facebook pages, separate to their profiles, that advertise the fact that they're looking for a job. There are also job hunting groups you can look through that will give you access to a great pool of potential candidates. People tend to join these groups when they are actively looking for a job, so it's best to find ones that are tailored to the role you're hiring for. Look out for keywords in the group names such as recruitment or sales or business management, etc. Twitter. When people are job hunting, they tend to talk or tweet about it, So always search sites like Twitter for people who might be talking about their job hunt. Plus you can follow people who might have jobs to offer. Use Twitter search to look for people who have tweeted relevant jobs offers in the past and follow them to see if it will happen again. Notice any keywords in common and then search on those too. Also watch how people reacted to those offers. Search more keywords to find conversations among other industry professionals and follow them as well. LinkedIn. LinkedIn works in a similar way to Facebook, in that you can track people who are job hunting by browsing groups that have been named or tagged with job hunting keywords. Again, you'll need to target your search by keywords that specify the industry you are currently sourcing candidates in. It's no use looking in groups for graduates if you're wanting to recruit a company director. On LinkedIn, some people choose to link to their other profiles too. So if they have other social networks links up on there, it might be worth taking note. Sometimes, depending on the role, approaching someone via another network may work better. Industry meetups and events. Depending on what industry you're hiring for, there may be a wealth of industry meetups, networking and conferences happening in your town or city. Use the website meetup.com to find them and see if you can attend any yourself. It is a great way to meet people in person, and although not everyone will be looking for new role or opportunities, they may not frown at the suggestion. It's always worth asking, just in case they are and simply need a gentle nudge to do so. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. These meetups will be full of industry folk too, so be sure to do your research on who is going and who you might expect to meet. It makes a huge difference than going in with no information or prior knowledge, and you look much more prepared and professional. Student websites and forums. Students are always on the lookout for jobs and make up a large and very enthusiastic bunch when it comes to candidates. If you're recruiting for a junior role or even mid-level role, keep a graduate or student in mind for it. There are plenty of online forums where students congregate and discuss job openings and job hunting tactics. Get involved on those forums and start building those relationships. Take a look at the university websites too and find out whether they have any job advertising space on their sites, or if they have any internal student search features. If so, you can ask for a selection of candidates for a role you're currently recruiting for. A tried and tested means of building your database of candidates is by asking every candidate that you speak to within your niche industry if they know of anyone who might be looking for employment and take down their details. It's a process where one contact leads to another, to another, to another, and so on. All along the way you collect contact details and CVs from potential candidates who may or may not fit the immediate job you are working on, but seem worth keeping on file for future vacancies in your specialty area. Points to action for this session is to 1. Test out at least 2 of the methods described for finding candidates, and 2. Set up a LinkedIn and Twitter account to attract relevant CVs. In Volume 3 we'll be looking at how to take a complete job order, then how to post or advertise vacancies. We will also review contents of the resource file and to conclude with going through the 30 steps of the recruitment process from obtaining a vacancy right through to finding a candidate and obviously getting paid with the placement.